Y'all know who we be, PVC Podcast Crew. First and foremost, before we do anything else, shout out to all 115 of our subscribers. Sounds about right. I think that's the right number we at right now. So we appreciate each and every one of y'all rocking along. But if you are catching our content, we know we had a lot of people who's been watching us for the first time, who caught us on the last couple of episodes. So if it's your first time watching, definitely consider liking and subscribing to the page, especially if y'all like the content. We got a lot of good things working, as y'all well see. If y'all continue to like the content, we're going to continue to bring it to y'all. So besides that, let's do how we always do at this time. Paul.
Just the fact that you do it
this time. I've got like to do it this time. You know how we do. Let me introduce the boys to y'all, since for the ones who are unfamiliar, who are uninitiated,
uneducated,
you know, who haven't sat down with us even for a little bit of time. Let's do this like we always do. Paul, you know how we get down. Say what's up to the people.
Get down. Good morning, everybody. Welcome in on PVC Podcast Crew.
Boy, get your voice together. Say it right.
I'm sorry, man.
Get your voice together.
Let me reintroduce myself. Good morning, everybody. Paul right here, tuning in back at the PVC Podcast Crew table. So far, it's been a lovely day. We do appreciate all those 115 subscribers, and I do appreciate you guys all reaching out and hit me up about they like what I did with the short film I was in. I got some good run on that and get a lot of compliments. We got almost 525 views on that. So keep watching, keep spreading the word, and we got some more stuff coming down the road, some good stuff. But besides that, you guys, welcome in. And I'm going to turn it into my boy Vic. Vic, say what's up to the people.
Oh, good morning, everyone. Glad to have you with us this episode of the PVC Podcast Crew. Today we're going to be having a conversation about a topic that could be considered dangerous by some and enjoyable by others, but as always, we hope you find the time worthwhile. And always, remember, you don't have to like the video to like the video.
Facts.
And now I'm going to pass it over to Cameron, a.k.a.
Cam, you know how it is. Cam, a.k.a. Nerd Boy Fresh. Follow me on the gram and all that good stuff. You know how we get down. You know what? I'm going to actually pass the mic. And I normally don't pass the mic on the lead in, but I'm going to pass the mic, just go around. Yeah, it is Christmas. You know, I'm going to pass the mic. I feel like DJ Cassie, you know, pass the mic to one, pass the mic to one. Yeah. So I'm going to pass the mic, just go around. I'm going to actually let Vic go ahead and introduce his topic, because it was his topic. He wants to try to get us in trouble. You in trouble.
We were broke.
Trouble. But
No,
we ain't. You know, we all bros. You know, we dive into this together.
Cameron's
you know,
sitting there like, who was we?
Exactly. I wasn't involved. I was on the sideline. I was minding my own business. Nah, you know how we do, man. You know, we one dive, we all dive. That's how we get down.
But in all seriousness, today's episode, we're talking about something that could be considered controversial, but I still find it fascinating. We're going to be talking about men and women and race, and how these things mix together and how they interact, and how it seems, on the surface at the very least, how men are able to connect with other men with relative ease regardless of race. As to where it doesn't seem to be as easy for women. Now, yes, there is some information missing in this, but this is on a surface level observation that we seek to go in deeper. And we're going to be primarily focusing on the men's side of things, considering this is all men, but we're still going to bring women into the conversation about this. And as always, please leave comments, especially if you are a woman, on why this may be or why it may not be, and how you can say that you agree or disagree. We do want to hear it, even if it is just to cuss us out. But yeah, pretty much that is the topic today. And as always, I hope you enjoy it. And camera.
All right, so pose the question like you posed it to us. Give us the real question.
Sure. So, fellas, how come is it that dudes, right, prime example, since we're a living one, black guys and Mexicans, we seem to get along just fine, relatively speaking. We're not talking about the hood aspects. That's a whole different conversation.
I'm glad you wanted that.
All right, but we're talking about in just a regular setting, right, away from the hood. All right. dudes seem to click pretty easily regardless of race. In a sense, I mean, we find common ground pretty easy. Typically, we find common ground. Ideally, it would be in the Lord, but more realistically, we find common ground in our enjoyment of women. Right? You got bros together, you got guys together. They're going to be talking about the babes. However,
This one here. This one here.
However, I can't see the same for women. For when women get together, it's typically more of their own ethnicity, right? And when they talk about men, it's less of enjoyment and it sounds more competitive.
We're going. I got you.
You wanna jump? You wanna time?
No, I'm gonna let you go first. I'm gonna let you go.
Go ahead, man.
Well, you had me laughing when you say bros. Here's a typical example. Let's just say like this. We sit right here, us three sitting right here. We can all laugh and joke or have a dysfunctional agreement on something, but at the end of the day, it's nothing big unless it gets serious. If we take the hood aspect out of this, unless it gets serious into a big altercation. But at the end of the day, we can always say, hey, dog, my bad. Hey, man, my bad. I didn't mean, put you on the spot like that. Or, I thought we were just joking and stuff like that. Some guys don't let their egos get away in the, in the joke part.
Yeah.
Some guys do. That's just typical man testosterone. But for women's point of view, and I've seen this happen in college, they don't do good. They don't take criticism very well. It's for the greater of the good, because they put too much, not only pressure, they just if you can just say, and Cam, help me out.
So real quick, let me streamline what I just said real quick. Essentially, it seems like women can unite men, but men can divide women.
Yeah. I mean,
because like I said, guys get together, women are in trouble. The first thought should be, bros, we gotta go save the babes. Right? I don't think the same is said for women. Not that they should be saving men, but more in the sense of, that guy's my future, you're all competition.
Go ahead. Go. The competition part, I'm gonna address in a minute, but go ahead.
Yeah. What you said is not wrong, but I think a lot of times, because you see this when you go like the workplace or out in public like that, a woman is always going to hate on something that she wants or never had, if that makes sense. So the topic is they'll put so much pressure trying to be, and a lot of feminists do this too for some reason. I'm starting to see this now, that they'll say one thing, but then it can lead to it can be a lie or
hypocrisy.
Yeah, stuff like that. But at the same time, certain females know who they main ones are, that they can trust and count on. If something jump off, you get what I'm saying like that. So
I'm gonna address that too.
Yeah, but for us guys, we can have a conversation that won't even make sense, but we know what the conversation is because we're guys.
A great time.
Yeah, because we're guys. Because we can go out, we can go to a bar and don't even know this person, but hey, the conversation was irrelevant. Hey man, can I chime in on this conversation? Can I buy you a beer or something like that? This is a good topic.
Yeah,
guys do that.
You know how crazy it is how much time guys can waste just hashing it out about nothing?
Yeah.
Like we can jump from topic to topic about damn near nothing and have a great time.
Yeah, but reverse that. When is the last time you seen a female anywhere you go? Like, hey, homegirl, this is a cool conversation, or this is cool, or everything. Can I buy you something? To chime in. You don't see that.
Yeah. To give an example for the men, if you've ever seen the movie Coming to America, the first one, an
Which
example is the barbers in that movie. The old men barbers.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like that.
Yeah, I can see that. Cause you can go like for us guys, we can sit outside, we can sit at a bus stop. I had plenty of conversations with people, guys I don't know, but you know, it turned out, man, maybe the piece of advice he gave or a piece of advice I gave helped them out in the long run, if that makes sense. So we don't put so much pressure of, unless, you know, the street stuff like, hey man, you know, I seen this dude, man. Hey, who homie right there? I ain't never seen him before. You know what I'm saying? Perfect example. But on the reverse side, when you see a bunch of guys like at a bar or watching the fight and stuff like that, or going to go, you know, watch a ball game or football like that, a topic is irrelevant, you know. But, you know, we can't root for who, you know, all depends who team it is, you know, because, you know, 49ers over here, you know.
Principal Cameron.
But in the interest of fairness, you know, women do put so much pressure on them because, you know, it's the beauty of it, it's the outcome of it, or it's what they trying to achieve that they know they something can achieve, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So, to answer the question is, they'll see, perfect example, when you see one female who's a 10, and the other female is, I'll give her a relative 6. But that 6 wants to be at that 10, but she knows if she has to get to that 10, she don't know whether she has to participate or something or have to change, her looks and stuff like that. But at the same time, you know, it shouldn't be too much pressure on them because it shouldn't be a competition. But the sad thing, it is a competition.
Cameron, you've been quite silent this whole time.
I know. I'm just waiting. Just waiting.
The wait's over.
No, he gonna put his left foot in, put his left foot out. He ain't gonna do the hokey pokey.
They call him Cha-Cha.
Wow. That's what
So
But go ahead.
let's break this down in two different parts, fellas. So you said it in regards to race. We're going to kick the race part out of it just for a little bit. We're going to bring it back in, but we're going to kick it out just for the time
All right,
being.
he gets down in the hall. Guys.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to kick race out of it because part of what happens is one part that you address. The competition aspect. Let's talk there. So in the art of competition, guys compete differently than women to a degree. So if it was guys, let's just say it was us three. We up there, we see a female, and we all.
That's where we at.
Don't man.
Okay.
No, I'm not throwing it. I ain't throwing all. We ain't doing all that.
Okay.
Female pulls up.
Don't get too invested.
We are. Yeah, I ain't trying to get you. I ain't trying to get you. I ain't trying to petro you up right now. Female comes in right now. All three of us like her, right? I like her. You like her. Vic like her, right? We all think that. You know, we may have different scales of what we may view her. You may think that, well, she's a 10. Vic may think that, well, she's about like a 7.5, 8. I may think that she may be a 6 or whatever, but we all think that she dope, right? No. I'm just saying, no. What I'm saying that is just, what I'm saying is degrees of how we view them.
Yeah.
So we would go about that differently. So how we handle that is this. If we all are cool with each other, we all cool, we all like the same girl, you know what we have? We sit there and we have the conversation piece. No, we have the conversation. Yo, girl's fine, she dope. You know, what y'all thinking? And so we'll conversate. I'm thinking about talking with her. You may, Vic be like, well, I'm thinking about talking with her too. But we'll hash it out. Like, all right, so bet. Which one of y'all want to take the first shot? That typically what happens. That typically what happens. It's either they all talk amongst each other. Yo, you go over there first and see if you get some action. If you don't, you walk back with the walk of shame, get laughed at. The next person pull up. If you go to a bar, That's what used to happen all the time. If you've been in a college fraternity or anything, or been in college and saw this in school, you see this all the time. If you saw this in high school and you're at the lunch table and you saw the girl walking by and all the guys is like looking and staring, everybody patting each other on the shoulder, who going? That's how our conversations go. Here's women for you. Because women will go about that in a different way. They have to separate themselves from the other women because they don't know who we're saying is the key one. So let's say 3 women is walking by and there's like 6 guys. And let's say they're not all choosing all of them. They may only like one of the 3. One of them get chose. But they all have to separate themselves so they see each other as competition, even though they could be best friends. But let 2 women who are best friends like the same one, then they ain't best friends anymore. It becomes competition. It becomes all out war. If we like the same girl, it's yo, you want first shot or what? See how the conversation piece is? The conversation, the conversation pieces are different from one side to the other. And if a female think I'm wrong, y'all could tell me, but I'm pretty sure I'm pretty close to being right. So when you take that element there. So I don't care what that mix of females is. If there's 3 females and 3 dudes, the 3 females are going to fight for each other for positioning. And the reason why they're going to fight for positioning, because they want the attention. Because the one girl who gets the attention, the other 2 are like, you can see it in their face. When one person, the first girl who gets talked to, they smile and cheese and, hey, how you doing? Even if they don't like the dude. They don't even have to like him. But they get the attention. And because of the attention alone, you know what it makes the other girls feel like? Well, why didn't he talk to me? The guys, on the other hand, if a girl pulls up and say, hey, Paul, let me go holler at you for a second. You know what the guys be doing in the background? Go do that. You want to know why?
You better not fumble.
Yeah, don't mess it up because we coming in right behind it if you mess it up. You drop the bag, I'm sitting there picking and you don't close that, right? That's how we think. And I don't want to break up, and I ain't trying to disclose like full bro code to y'all. And I ain't trying to disclose full female code to y'all, but I kind of know both sides. When you deal with so many on both sides of the equation, you kind of know this.
It's just to help the listener follow along.
But that's part of it, the competition aspect. So let's accelerate this competition aspect of it. Mm-hmm. Now, when Vic said, why is it that bros could get along irregardless of race? It's kind of the same thing. Because the way that we approach talking to a female is irregardless of the race. And unless it is one of those things where you were born and raised culturally that you are supposed to be with your own race. There's a generation of people who are born and raised and taught that no matter what, 9 times out of 10, I would rather you choose to be with your own race above anybody else. Now, that's not to say if you deviated from that it will be bad. It's just going to be looked upon differently. And it's much more looked upon differently from a woman's perspective versus a guy's perspective. A guy could bring somebody from the opposite race. It'll still be looked at a little bit crazy, but ultimately it's easier to digest. When a woman brings somebody from the opposite race, they got to do a lot of explaining. Meaning that, why did you choose him? He black. You Spanish. I've been in that situation.
Me too.
Well, they have to sit there and explain. And it's one thing just to be explaining it. Now you got to explain it. Then you got to explain it to your parents who kind of is okay with it. Like, oh, I know, dude, he cool, good people, whatnot. But you got to explain it to your aunts who don't understand, your grandmother who definitely don't understand, your uncle who's an OG uncle who's probably from the hood who really don't understand. You got to do a lot of explaining. That's one aspect. That's why I said that part of stuff.
Yeah, it's taboo's the word, ain't it?
Yes, it's a very taboo thing, and that happens in all races. That's not just a Spanish thing. That's not just an Asian thing. That's not even just a white thing. It's also a black thing too. We just go about those conversations completely different. Now, let's take that aspect and give you a little bit more context. When there's a group of girls.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say they are of different races. White girl, Asian girl, Spanish girl, black girl.
Okay.
One guy who's looking at all of them. He chooses, not based upon he thinks that one is overly, like, because of race is better than the other. It's because he may prefer how one looks. Women don't see that aspect. They're not seeing that he's choosing because he may prefer the white girl or prefer the Asian or prefer the black girl. He's just choosing. It could be the white boy who chooses the black girl because that's what he prefers. It's not because he's trying to purposely deviate against his race per se. He just may like how the girl looks above all the other ones that he was seeing in front of him. Because here's the thing. You're only can make choices based upon
the information you have.
What's in front of you. And this is why I try to tell y'all boys from time to time that if y'all branch out more, y'all choices branches out more.
No. I totally agree with you on that because when you out and about, you see different things, and then it make you realize, well, wait, maybe I am supposed to be with that, hang out with this person instead of this person. But at the same time, you know, I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, I wanted to date this girl just because she was white. No, I wanted to date this girl because, you know, I liked her personality, I liked the conversation. We had a great conversation. We had good chemistry. So it was sometimes. Stop.
Let me. Can I break something up? I hate when people do that.
Go for it.
I want y'all to be absolutely transparent and absolutely honest.
Go for it.
You haven't got to the conversation piece yet before you talk to the lady.
Okay.
The first thing you're gonna notice about her is what she looks like. So stop lying.
No. I'm not saying that.
No. When you're choosing, it's not simply because she has a good conversation. No. You got to like what you're looking at.
I'm using that as an example. You know, I'm seeing what's in front of me. I know what's in front of me. But what I'm saying is, I'm not choosing I'm not saying that just because what she looked like doesn't mean, just because she's a white, okay, she could be a baddie and stuff like that. But I'm not saying,
that has nothing to do with race.
Okay,
allow me to clarify.
That's what I was trying
Allow me to clarify what the woman looks like. And this is something that women has to understand this too. This is more so that I'm telling this to y'all, but it's more so for women to understand. When I say preference, it is a preference.
Like you do that.
Exactly. Preference. It's not because, there could be five beautiful women in front of you, but you may prefer the Asian. You may prefer the black one. That's not because she's black.
Now, let me ask you this. Is that a bad thing?
No, because it's your preference. It is a difference.
So
now, here's the thing. Now, women, and here's where women kind of get this wrong, and I want to clarify this from the women's aspect, and I'm going to clarify some things from the guys' aspect. Women get this wrong because they think that just because we didn't choose them, they think it's something wrong. Because you got to understand, women ultimately have to be chosen. And also in the chosen part, they have to accept who is choosing them. Here's what I mean by that. Before they can accept it and be like, I'm cool with this person and all this stuff, they have to be comfortable with the person who is choosing them. But we, as guys, we have to choose first. Now, we base those choices upon a multiple of different things. conversation is secondary because you can't get to the conversation because if you don't like what she looks like, you ain't getting to the conversation. So stop lying and saying that the conversation part is first. It's not first. It's second.
No, I didn't say it's first, but go ahead.
It's second. So I want to clarify that.
Okay.
What a person looks like is important, and that goes both ways,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen. So if a guy is looking all bummy and stuff, the guy could go up to that girl all he wants to.
Mm-hmm.
But if that woman doesn't like what she sees or is not physically attracted to him, you can have a conversation, but you're already cut off at the pass because they don't like what you look like.
Yeah.
You too nerd boy fresh for me. You're not this race. You're not this type of person. Mm-hmm. You don't have a chain dangling around your neck because certain people like to, superficialize the conversation piece. So, but you gotta physically be attracted to a person first and foremost before anything else happens. But that comes with choice. That is a preference. Women have preference in that regard. Guys have preference. We are just more outwardly about it because that's the first thing that we have to evaluate. Am I physically attracted to said person? Maybe race is a part of that. But 9 times out of 10, it's maybe not that. Maybe she's curvy. Maybe she's thin. Maybe she's like a 350-pound person, and that person just so happens to like that 350-pound person. That so happens to be true, too. There's people who like that. So that doesn't mean that just because you're a certain way that you may not be chosen. You just got to understand that you got to be physically attracted both ways before that happens. Women don't understand that. People bring the race conversation in because they see that, well, I see a lot of black people choosing this direction. They're not choosing their own. No, the reason why that is half the time is because it's not the fact they're not choosing their own. They're not choosing you. Does that make sense? You
metaphorically.
Forget a metaphor. I'll talk facts.
Okay. All right, facts now. So what you're saying is, okay, here, let me just put all the cards on the table. So why is it a bad idea if let's just say the brothers or the black, whatever.
Tell me straight.
Why is it a bad thing if they choose a different perspective?
Because they're not choosing them.
Okay.
You're not choosing within your race, so you think that, well, you couldn't find no black woman if it was you?
I mean,
that's
typically the argument right here because every go ahead.
No, because what they want to see is that they think that is busting up the lineage.
Yeah.
The one thing about being in America, probably more so than any other country in the world, is that it's so diverse that racially and culturally mixing was going to happen inevitably.
Yeah.
If we were in one spot where we were all the same race, guess what? You could only go by what's in front of you and what you could choose. But when you see that there's more options, you may choose differently. Here's the thing. And I hate bringing this up, but it brings it to a little bit of the conversation like what Vic was saying. This is why the passport bros start doing what they did. Let me explain passport bro culture for a quick second. Passport bro culture, for all people who are uninitiated, is people who really couldn't find a real connection in the United States, so they travel overseas to go find women to be with. Or passport sisters, the opposite way. Even though we just kind of put a name behind it, the concept is, I want to go off to other countries to see what's different, because maybe my choices will be different. Now, from a cultural point of view, not what the person looks like, culturally, a lot of things we've been fed in social media shapes the perception of what people look like. And so when people are making choices, they're not making choices solely based upon the person who is necessarily in front of them. They are making choices based upon the perception that they were fed to them, what they look like, and then they put all that in front of them. Then they think that, oh, he should be like this or she should be like this. Where in actuality, once you get to step 2, the conversation, then you realize, oh, he's not like in Boys in the Hood. He's also not like the boy from the Wolf of Wall Street either.
That's a good one.
I'm just giving everybody perspectives of how that looks like. And the reason why that's important is because the conversation really starts to formulate what a person is really like.
Yeah.
But more importantly, it starts to go beyond, well, this person just looks good. Now this person has a good personality. Now, because certain people may be like, well, they may be, physically they may be alright, but they're super smart, they're ambitious, they're all this stuff. But ultimately, like I said, if you are not physically attracted to that person, I don't care what the other stuff is. That relationship is going to fail. Why do I say that? It's because when you just hear people about, oh, well, they're cheating and all this stuff, and people think that, well, no, it's because the physical attraction messed up. That's where cheating comes into play, because when you start saying that, well, I'm not physically attracted to this person, you start looking at and evaluating more options. And when you start evaluating more options, that becomes a problem, because now you may be in a marriage and you're like, well, I'm not really physically attracted to this person. So you start thinking that, well, this person may be an option, this person may be an option, this person may be an option. But you had already chose. And if you want to go back to the box and choose again, you got to unwind all that stuff that you did to get back into the board to choose again. Or flip it. Let's say you're choosing somebody who's in a relationship or in a marriage. The problem with that is now you're inserting yourself into somebody else's situation that causes problems.
But on a typical note, even though that's a bad thing or a bad way to go, you know, sometimes people get caught up in the moment or get caught up in, you know, and especially because, you know, it kind of shows them like, man, you know.
Here's the thing.
But that's a different conversation.
I don't want to go there, at least not yet.
But to get back on track on things, because us guys, and I hate to say this, we'll look at something and pass it on to the next thing, or we'll look at something like, man, I can, you know, I got this now. It's time to go get another. That's a typical guy.
Because
it's a guy. It's a man. I'm gonna just say it's the man of us.
Here's the honest truth, family. Guys, no matter what, tend to have the options. Because, like I said at the very beginning of this, guys, I'm not trying to be funny.
It's not a
guys,
funny thing. It's real serious.
Have the ability to choose. Women have to be chosen first, and then they have to respond and say, am I cool with the person who is choosing me? Women think that, well, I got all these guys following, maybe. But here's the thing. You can have all these guys pursuing you, women, but are you really attracted to them? And furthermore, are you attracted to them for the right reason? When women get together, they always see each other as competition. I don't care in what spaces. And it's been like that since elementary school.
I'll do you one better. The dawn of time.
Yes. Keep in mind, everything's been competition when it comes to them. Because again, their status, everything that they are, we're in this era, no man can make me, no. A man and a woman combine, enhance, combine, help each other.
It's called full potential.
Exactly. You could do a lot of stuff on your own, but you will always be looked at as, yeah, you have money, you have the cars, yeah, you may be like, busting somebody down on the side, But if you're not in no real relationship, you will never be fully respected. And that's why when people interject themselves into their relationships and try to bust them up and separate them, people like to do that because it's not for anything else, because it's the competition thing. Women will interject themselves in other people's relationships just to try to prove that I'm better. And they don't have to interject themselves in those situations. They don't have to interject themselves into other people's relationships, but they try to. Guys have a notoriously bad thing of doing that, and they got these women trying to think that they could do what these guys are doing. And guys got to stop doing that too. Stop interjecting yourselves into other people's relationships, because like I said, they already chose. And because they chose, you have to respect that. Now, if they want to choose differently, they have to make that decision to choose differently first. And then when they're on the market and in a choosable position again, then you can. You can't interject yourself into somebody else's stuff. But when you talk about the cultural aspect of things, the competition is, well, they're choosing her because she has long hair. They're choosing her because her skin complexion is caramel versus white or light or super dark. That's when the race thing starts coming into play, because people are choosing off of their preference, but the preferences from a lot of people, honestly, has been very similar. That's what happened. When social media opened up the floodgates to see what's kind of out there, what guys start to realize is, oh, we kind of like similarly.
Yeah.
You know, the guys who like the black girls tend to choose that way. The guys who like the Asian girls tend to choose that way. And you're going to see a lot more people who kind of like the similar things. Women, on the other hand, they understand that. They've been maximizing that. They've been doing social media around that, because what they're doing is they are leveraging those preference choices. That's where we kind of got wrong in regards to the choice patterns. Because women, they may say, oh, I'm cool with the girls, until a guy comes into play. That was the answer to your question from jump. Everything is cool for women until a guy comes into play. Once a guy comes into play, then it stopped becoming girl code. It becomes it becomes now it's a battle.
It's a battle.
Well, yeah, they could be best friends. Yeah, you cool, but you know your hair's all messed up and your clothes ain't. You know,
them press on this.
they're fake. No. I'm being honest. These are really. Yeah, I know girls don't like me saying these because that's the conversation, and then you'll hear the girl. No. But then you hear the girls talk amongst each other and say that, and then then the girls who are not getting chose, what they do, they come over. They have a conversation with one of their guy friends who they want to try to like get justification to show that they're at least desirable a little bit. I don't really look as good as that girl over there. She's all these guys are liking her or whatnot. So they want to feel validated by somebody. Because their validation is based upon who's choosing them.
And see, I saw that too, and I've seen that, and I'm like, well, you're not here to. Well, it is a competition, but there's some feel like they can't compete with that because they don't have what that.
They don't
girl,
feel that they could compete
like
with that, but you gotta understand, just because you can't get that person, ultimately that person is not for them. If you cannot get that person, you wasn't supposed to be with them to begin with. You know, when things start to open up, in anything, but especially in relationships, you're gonna see a lot of people, and you're gonna have conversations with them, and you're gonna be able to weave off who's supposed to be in your life and who's not supposed to be in your life. You'll be able to pick that off pretty quickly. If you have the right discernment in your life, you'll be able to pick it off. Oh, I'm supposed to talk to this person and say what's up, but I'm not really supposed to be with them in a relationship form. There's certain ones that you do need to date. And it may not equate to a whole full-on relationship or anything, but you need to get out there and date. Why? Because you got to get yourself in the mix and in the flow and understand, like, what do I really like? So you got to go out there and kind of choose. But guess what? You're going to run across somebody that you be like, oh, that might be the one. And I'm going to tell you, when you know that that person is the one for you, it will hit you like it will hit you like no other way. You'll be like, oh, I know I'm supposed to be up there. And you will get, most guys get it instantly. You will know it instantaneously. There'll be certain situations you'll be like, dog, well, I should be with this person and I know I can't. Because you're going to have that thing like, dog, I know I could be with this person. But then there's always going to be a blocker to say that this is the reason why you can't. Or maybe not at this juncture in time. No, it's not even that. Because you want to know why? Because real grown men know that they're not going to interject themselves in that position, because they know that if they did it, and even if they were supposed to be with that person and it's the wrong time, you will mess up that relationship too, because the timing is wrong. If that person's in a relationship, you know there's a barrier in place, and you know you have to stop. These are things that people don't understand, that you really gotta, guys know. That's the person I'm supposed to be with. You will know it, and it's gonna be like, it'll be the person that you may never really think that it is. But once you run across them, and once you be like, dang, she looks cute. And once you have the first conversation, it will hit you. It doesn't hit women like that. Sometimes it does, but a lot of times it really doesn't. But 9 times out of 10 for guys, it will hit you, and you will know it. And you will know that feeling, because it'll be a different feeling than what you felt before. And you will know, and you'll be like, dog, I got to stop, and I know I'm going to be in a long-term relationship with this person. And then with that, you will do whatever you can to preserve it. Now, whether it works or not, that's a different conversation altogether. But in that choosing, because that goes into the original question. I don't want to deviate from that because it's important. People get it wrong because when they see a person not choose them, especially women think that they're doing something wrong. No, they're just not being chosen because a guy's preference may not necessarily be them at this point in time. That doesn't mean that you just let yourself go, ladies or guys. That doesn't mean you just go up there any which way. You want to be presentable at all times, because you never know when the person you're supposed to be with, you're going to walk across. You don't know if that's going to be at work. You don't know if that's going to be at home. You don't know if that's going to be walking down a hamburger stand.
So essentially what we're saying is, just because you lost don't mean you got to be defeated.
No, you have a lifetime to do this. The Lord puts people in front of your path all the time. Every person you come in contact with is there for a reason and a purpose. Sometimes it's simple. Sometimes it's complex. Sometimes it's for something simple. Sometimes it's just to get a little tidbit of information. Sometimes it's just to say, what's up? You say hi to a female. Sometimes it's just so you can have female interaction. Because you ain't had it. Sometimes people work where it's like, some people work in offices where it's all guys. And then when they see the first female, they don't know how to respond because they haven't been around, they're not around females all day. So you gotta have that interaction. Just so you know how to understand and handle that, so when you get into those situations, you're not looking like Boo-Boo the Fool. I used to work at a store where it was 95% guys and 5% women. And when the women were working, yeah, Boo-Boo the Fool.
What pickings today?
Boo-Boo the Fool.
Oh, man.
I don't know.
But I'm just saying that because I worked in a store where it was 95% guys, 5% women, and the guys who were there, because they were so like in front of dudes all day long, the 5% of the women, the 4 or 5 girls that was in the building, was constantly hit on, constantly harassed, constantly on this stuff. Why? Because these guys didn't know how to handle it. They were all vying for their attention. You know what the girls were? You know, they were absorbing it, but they were half the time they were shooing up, trying to get off me. But some of them were like embracing it, because it was like, well, I'm in a building where I'm getting all this attention, because women love attention. Part of the reason why we have social media now, they love the attention so much, they're going to absorb the attention, because what it separates them out of the 5 women that's there, if one or two of the women's getting all the attention, what does it look like for the other three? Y'all not as good as us. These are the two who's getting attention all day long.
And even then, they're still competing with each other.
And then even with that being said, even with the attention, let's say they each like the same guy, but the guy chooses one over the other. That happened. Then them two is bickering, but then it's in a workplace. So now it's a beef in the workplace because y'all like the same guy and y'all wanna fight over him because it's competition. Whereas with guys, irregardless of race, we don't look at it like that. We more embrace it like, yo, if you want to take a shot at her, go ahead. Do your thing. I'll wait. Because if it's not going to be, if you wanted to go up there and look like it, sometimes you're like, look, you want to go look like a fool, you go look like a fool, go ahead. Sometimes you're going up there and you know you don't have it. You know that and everybody around them know they don't have a shot. But you sometimes you gotta respect the dude who's taking a shot because as a guy, if you're not taking shots, you will never get a chance.
It's like being that dude from the movie Independence Day.
Right.
Took that shot at the mothership.
Exactly. You gotta just take the shot.
Hello, ladies.
But that's important because here's an important part. By him taking the shot, he realized, oh, that's what you're supposed to do. And then everybody else around that dude, you may think that, oh, well, that dude's the goofy one, that dude's the nerdy one, that dude don't know what he's doing, he don't know what he's talking about, he's the awkward one. But that awkward one just gave y'all the pathway of figuring out how to crack the code. You know what happens with guys with women? It's always the goofy one, the awkward one who figures out how to crack the code with her. Oh, she likes jokes.
You know,
let the real one come over there and start emulating.
Real quick, you know the movie.
That's why guys have wingmen.
You know, you've seen the movie Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Yep.
Granted, sure, it's a fictional couple, but Roger the rabbit, and I believe his wife's name was Jessica.
Jessica Rabbit.
Jessica Rabbit. And the whole thing, she said, "Why do you like him? He's such an, he's an idiot. He's goofball."
He makes me laugh.
She literally just says, "He makes me laugh."
Yep. It's the simple stuff.
That's a little more real than people.
But
she's honest about it.
But that's sometimes it's the simple stuff. But you got to sometimes you got to see other people fail to figure out that's what it's going to take. Women don't see that. Women only see that I have to do this. They don't understand that they have to better themselves to do it. Guys understand that if we see somebody fail or we see somebody a certain way, especially when we're chasing a female, we see that, oh, maybe I don't match up now. But here's what I need to do to match up. And the guys in the bro code will tell you, man, your fitness ain't right, man. You know, get in the gym. Something. Yo, you ain't eating right. Get your food right. Your money ain't right just yet. Get your cash up a little bit where you can support her. You know, guys will tell that amongst each other. Women don't tell each other that if they're being honest. Because they don't want to because they think everything is a secret to them. Meaning that I don't want to give away the key to help a relationship or help somebody get into one. Because if I help somebody get to it, that means I'm not. Whereas guys, on the other hand, irregardless of race, this has nothing to do with race. If we were to do that, yo, this is how you go get her. This is how you have a chance at her. Whether it works out or not, we'll see. But this is how you put yourself in position to get a chance. We approach it different. It's still competition for us. But if we lose, the difference is we feel like we live to fight another day. Whereas women, they figure that if they lose that one opportunity, even though that person may not be for them, they feel like it's the end of the world.
You think hormones play a role?
Obviously, because it's the conversation about the competition goes off emotion. Guys channel their emotion different than women.
That's a fact.
So when we channel emotion, especially in a competitive mode, yeah, we compete. And sometimes we get a little flagrant with the competition when we talk about the hood stuff. It'll get a little flagrant. Mm-hmm. But we still channel that competition differently than what women will. And you think that, oh, we're bad about it? Let women compete for anything. I don't care if it's for a guy. Just say it's not a guy. I don't care if it's for, a plate of hot wings or something. Let them compete for it. Look how much more vindictive, how much, if you put something in front of them and said, there's 10 women in the line, and you put $100 over there to go run, the first person to get that little $100 get it, a guy would get to it, and everybody will run for it real fast, first person to grab it up, cool, pat on the back, whatever, that's how that goes, right? Women,
They swing.
body slam, hair pull, turn over. It'd be a whole WWE wrestling match over $100. Once they get to the $100, the one person's happy, and everybody, all the other girls is like, that's what this is. Go.
The bouquet toss.
That was the other example. Perfect example.
Yeah.
They throw the bouquet toss. The guys, when they throw the garter, you've been to a wedding, they throw the garter. The guys go for it. They'll fight over it for a minute. Or if you've seen like some other stuff, everybody pushing it away. I don't want it. But they'll grab it. Somebody get their hand in the air, catch it. Yay! Women, on the other hand, the bouquet, you look at them when they do it. I don't care what it is. They elbow each other. They try to set.
Yeah, it's like it's movie time.
No. Nothing to do with race.
Got something on your dress?
Nothing to do with race. Nothing to do with anything. Just pure competition. Race for women only enhances it because they think that, they don't like me because I'm black. No. It's just certain guys, that's not their preference. Certain guys don't prefer that. Certain guys may have seen you from the side talking with another female and they know that your attitude. So they see your demeanor. Sometimes it's you look mean. Sometimes it's you coming in there with, for real.
No, I got you.
You, like I said, physical attraction. And physical attraction is not just always about if the body is curvy. Sometimes it's your disposition. That's part of the attraction. If you see somebody who is just mean mugging mean, I don't care how they look like, you're not going to approach them. Their disposition, that's still physical attraction. But a lot of times women, they go in there and they don't put themselves in position. Walk around with the bonnet in your head, pajama pants, a little crop top with the stomach just kicking all the way out. That's not attractive. So some of it is positioning. Guys do the same thing. Pants sagging down way low. Shoes ain't together. Nappy head. Unslicked back hair going every which way. But I'm going to tell you something. For guys, they can do something like that, and there'll still be a female who will still probably mess with them. But as if a girl does that, that doesn't fly. That's where it becomes different between women and guys. We channel that competition differently. That's why we can sit here and have a conversation. Have y'all seen female podcasts as of late?
No, dog.
Take a look at a few of them. Let the conversation get a little bit testy and see how catty, for lack of a better term, that conversation becomes. No, because they start fighting over each other for positioning. Whereas a guy, we can have these conversations and be like, all right, bet. A lot of times, even though we may disagree, we always we agree to disagree at points. Women can't do that. And that is an emotion, and you're right, it is an emotional thing. But people always want to classify that as race because they always see that, and especially, I'm not, black ladies, don't hate me, but I'm just going to be honest with y'all. It's more so in the black culture as opposed to everybody else. Because they know that when a lot of the black guys are choosing to be with the Asian woman, or choosing to be with the white woman, or choosing to be with a Spanish woman, they think that, we can't compete. No, you can, you just got to be better. If you want to compete, you compete. But you got to go about it the right way. But you got to understand is that it's a difference in how guys view it versus how women view it. That's really what it comes down to. People think that guys will choose anything. No, guys only choose what they like. And what a guy like is different. What Vic like is different than what Paul like. Paul like is different than what I like. Yeah, there may be certain things that are similar. but we could all see one woman and view all three of us have a completely different take on her. Vic may say, oh, she's a 10. Paul may say, she may be like a 7, and I may think she's a 2. Just the honest answer. And I'm not saying that, we go up there and we just be judging women. No. But if a woman was to come down, if we were all actually competing, that's how we view it. And there's no disrespect to the woman. It's just Vic's preferences is different than mine.
The thing about it too is, okay, you're an absolute liar if you say you don't. I'm not gonna say judge people's looks, but rate them. Subconsciously, everyone does that. The minute you look at someone, guy or girl, I'm not talking about flirting or anything, you subconsciously give them a number.
Right, because you have to physically like what you're seeing to even think about being with them. A lot of times you won't even talk to them as a friend if you're not even remotely physically attracted to them. This, I don't want to go. We don't have enough time to go into this part of the conversation because I would have to table that because a lot of times when, especially women, when women have guy friends around them, that is not chosen on accident. They have them guy friends around for 2 reasons. One, because they give them access to something that they don't already have, or B, they are physically attracted to them enough that if something was to happen, they would give them some run. God's honest answer. I don't want to go into that because that goes into a different conversation. I don't want to deviate from this topic because that will be another topic for another day. But that's the thing about when you have these type situations that it's a simple question to a much bigger issue.
Yeah. No, you're not lying on that. I mean, God forbid, we live in a world where everything goes perfect and you can choose who you be, but at this day and age you can't because like I said, everybody's preferences are different. Everybody wants things different. It don't necessarily have to be about a relationship or getting the girl you want. It could be the career, it could be the car, or this and that. It's just things are different. People are different.
No, you have the right to choose.
Yeah,
and women have the right to choose too. But see, they gotta understand is that. Just because we didn't choose you, that doesn't mean that you're a terrible person. Just because you're not being chosen by a select few people, you're not being chosen. So you gotta be able to, I don't want to talk about this, but you gotta be able to handle rejection. Guys handle rejection because we get rejected more often than anybody else.
I guess another way of saying it is like, okay, so in the guy's mind, she's a non-factor. In the sense that he wasn't going after her. Right?
Right.
He's just going after her friend.
Right.
But she's going to feel like a loser or she's lost something. But the thing was, in his mind, she wasn't even in the race.
Right.
She was just the wheel.
Right. And sometimes we're guys, we're okay with that.
Well, real quick, do you think the show, I don't even know if they do the show, like The Bachelor, you know what I'm talking about?
Same thing.
Yeah, same thing.
But you think this kind of has affected the thinking of people?
Yes, because like I said, okay, I'll give you one better. And I know you haven't seen it yet, Big Soul, but I think, Paul, you would understand this. Have you seen the 20 versus 1, the Pop the Balloon show?
No.
You know when the girls line up and the guy goes out there and the girls pop the balloon.
I hate that.
It's basically like The Bachelor. It's just a social media version of The Bachelor.
It's so stupid but funny at the same time.
Get a chance if you get a chance. I want to use that as a point. I'm using that as a point of reference. So when you get a chance, just watch it. I ain't saying go don't dive down the rabbit hole too crazy, but just watch a clip of it so you understand what we're talking about.
I'll wear a harness.
Yeah. So the reason why did they do it is because if it was 20 guys and one girl walks out and you hear pop, 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 pop. Look at the girl's face. They get offended. Because none of those guys doesn't like what they saw. Because they think that, well, it doesn't matter what the conversation piece is. If I don't physically like what you're looking like, I'm popping the balloon. The Bachelor's the same way. The only thing with The Bachelor is you got to stick around and go through the whole song and dance and stuff. But guess what? If The Bachelor was sped up, it's the balloon show, and that's the reason why I said watch the Pop the Balloon show, because a Pop the Balloon show is basically a sped up version of The Bachelor. It's basically, if you took 20 episodes of The Bachelor and put it in an hour show, it's Pop the Balloon. Watch it. It's a good watch because it's hilarious, but it will give you a lot about how guys and girls think about things. When a guy walks out and the balloons are popped, the guys don't take offense to it that much. I mean, a few of them do, but they're doing it for show. But on the reals, they don't care. A woman goes out there and the 20 guys pop their balloons.
Pop, pop, pop.
Then it's like,
Pop, pop, pop.
I mean, like, they go this whole little tirade.
Offensive.
Yeah, go this whole little tirade. Y'all ain't choosing me. Y'all don't like what I look like. Y'all don't like this.
You just said it yourself.
It's only because the guys that's there versus you, they just don't like who you are. And sometimes it may be you. Mm-hmm. Maybe you're the one who's dressing too crazy. The super short shorts and got your thing showing. And they don't really like that because they want their woman to be more of a conventional stand-up woman. Like somebody who's more conventional, like more modest. Exactly. But see, that's what I'm saying. It's a difference. And that's the problem, is because when guys choose, it's not the end of the... Guys get rejected all the time. We deal with rejection daily. Especially if you're in the market and you're trying to be with women and stuff, and you be like, well, I think she's cute, and you walk up to her and say hi, and she shoves you up. You get shut down all the time. But sometimes you'll get some run. And even in the time that you get some run, you still got to make decisions. I ain't messing with her because she got a dude. Even though she's giving me run, the bigger picture is I'm not going to do that because I respect her and her relationship enough to not interject myself into it. Now, if she was completely free and completely somebody who I'm supposed to interact with in that way, it would open up. Whether it opens up now or at a later point in time, it will open up. But that's kind of what the lesson is. The lesson is, ladies, is that I know it's competition, but preferences is not always about race. We all prefer differently. Every guy, I could put 100 guys, and you can list the qualifications, and I'm going to tell you right now, out of the 100, maybe 5 will be close. Everybody else is going to be far apart. Now, we may be a little bit closer in what we think as far as like women and stuff, but that's an outlier. Physically, we all will like somebody different.
Yeah. Give or take,
I mean,
that's natural. That's a natural.
Yeah. The unifier is she's a woman.
Right. It's just the fact that she's a woman. We may like differently. Some people like the Barbie types, the silicone types. Some people like the natural type. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole either, but that's, like I said, it's preferences. Yeah. That's why I want y'all to understand. And just because you try to match yourself up to a certain way, that doesn't mean that you're still going to be chosen. You're just trying to match up because you think that's what we're liking. And that may not be. Just because we may think that, she alright, but they ain't somebody I'm going to, do something, have a permanent relationship with. Two different things.
Diversity, it would start with a D, you said.
Diverse?
Diversity.
Yeah, because, like I said.
No, demeanor. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the demeanor. Your demeanor. Yeah. But see, like I said, the demeanor is part of the physical attraction. Yeah. Let me do this before we head out, because we got to go. Mm-hmm. Physical attraction is not just the clothes or just the body. Sometimes it's how you carry yourself with the clothes, with the body. Yeah. And that doesn't go just for girls, that goes for guys too. If your demeanor is, I don't really want to be here and all that stuff, I don't really want to talk with nobody, guess what? Nobody's going to approach you. Yeah. People, and I'll say that because, and I'll let you go in a second. People will get that from me from time to time. When they first meet me, they think that I'm unapproachable. Because I'm always gunning, I'm always moving, so they think I'm unapproachable. But what they realize is, as soon as they get in front of me and stop me for 5 seconds, oh, you're really approachable. Yes, but I know that that's something I had to fix, because if I'm constantly giving the impression that I'm unapproachable, that means that nobody's gonna say nothing, guy or girl. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
because it looks like I'm unapproachable.
I mean, that's just the nature of you. You know, everybody's, because sometimes you don't know what you're doing or something. Like you might be on, like you said, you're on the move, or you just got one of them days. You're like, you know what?
But see that goes. But see, that's something I had to fix because that goes to my demeanor. So even though I may look a certain way, if I'm unapproachable, it doesn't matter because my demeanor will show. Don't mess with me. Yeah, basically. But women do this all the time and they don't know it. Or they do it on purpose because they think that, well, I want to see if somebody could break through this wall because they use it as a protection layer. That's a different, but that's a different. I don't want to bust up the girl code, but I know it. I'm sorry, I do know it. I live with females my whole life. Shout out to my mom and my sister. I like I said, I know what it is. I know all the defense mechanisms. I know all that stuff. It's easy to break through all that stuff.
Yeah, I gotta bust up the catapult.
Exactly. There's easy to work your way around certain things. Don't think that just because you do certain things that we don't understand what you're trying to do. And I know people do that because
it's just the attitude.
No.
Somebody,
that's on purpose too. Because they'll get the attitude is the second part because they want to do that because it's a defense mechanism. Sometimes, God, I'm gonna say this real quick and we gotta go.
I'm not too much of a rush.
The reason why the second layer to this conversation is after the physical attraction, and you see that, well, this girl's giving me a whole bunch of attitude and giving me the cold shoulder. You wanna know why? It's not because that she doesn't necessarily like your personality. She doesn't like your physical attraction portion of things. So that is her way of blocking you out. That's her way of saying, I don't want to, have a conversation with you. Even though you may try to, and she may entertain it because she still got, still a little bit of ego driven. She want to have the conversation to say that, I got this guy talking to me. But ultimately, she's trying to shoot him off because I'm not physically attracted to you. I don't want to have anything to do with you. Or I got a dude. This is one of my many ways of blocking you off. So sometimes it will throw the purposely bad attitude. But remember we used to talk about the little dude with the guy with the fancy car and stuff, and how that attitude tends to change when it comes to money. Mm-hmm. That's when a lot of this changes too, because then it becomes an opportunity versus I really like him. So she didn't really like him for him. She only likes him for resource. But they do all these defense mechanisms because, again, if you really physically like the person, you would have the conversation with them. And even if you maybe don't, you still would be able to be like, hey, hi, how you doing? Cool little demeanor. But then you'll be like, well, I really just don't like the way that you look. And kind of let you down easy. If that makes sense? And guys,
She could be an enigma.
No, but I'm saying, but guys don't have to worry about that because guys are the ones who got to go through the rejection process. When a woman gets rejected, that's the problem they have because they think it's the end of the world. Because they want to feel like that everybody likes them. Everybody wants them. They want to be the envy of all the girls. Oh, well, all the girls like me because I got all this. Well, I look this way, and they want to be the envy. They want to be the one, the icon. They want to be the Halle Berry type. They want to be the Cameron Diaz, the Jennifer Lopez type. They want to be the one that all the guys be like, oh, I would love to be with them. Then come to find out that every person I just mentioned can't hold a relationship.
I wonder why.
Because it goes beyond, because once you get beyond the looks portion of things, that's when all the secondary part. That's why I always tell you, the 3 keys to the relationship, communication, trust, and physical attraction, you gotta have all 3, and all 3 has to work for a relationship to work.
Who would have thought what's on the surface is only the surface?
Right. Because the physical, and people think that, well, why do you say communication, trust, and physical attraction? Physical attraction is third? No. I'm gonna be honest with you. Physical attraction is actually first. Because you can't get to the communication without the physical attraction, and you can't get to the trust without communication. Physical attraction is actually first.
How else you gonna? No one chooses a book off its title.
Exactly. Because you could choose a book and be like, oh, the book looks cool. But then once you read like 3 pages, you'll be like, oh, this book is trash.
So physical attraction,
communication, and then trust. It's literally in that order, and the reason why, because for you to have communication, you got to be physically attracted to the person to actually have a conversation with them. If a guy was looking bummy, even as a guy, you'll be hard pressed to even go and approach him because he's bummy looking. But you may say, out of the kindness, I'll push past that. Hey, what's up? How you doing? Everything all right? What's going on in your life? Because that's how guys maneuver. If a girl sees a guy who's bummy, they won't even look their way. No, I'm being honest with y'all. Even with guys, we kind of separate each other. If a guy is really like hood connecting and stuff, a lot of guys don't even want to go say what's up to that dude. Because they're afraid, they don't know the situation, they don't know if he's affiliated, if he is, if he ain't, they don't know any affiliation, they don't know any of that stuff. So they don't talk. But let's say you so happen to run into his girl.
And that typically be the wrong case scenario right there, because I seen that.
And his girl who loves the attention, who may not really like his lifestyle, whatever it may be. You don't know what's going on in their life, but then she's giving you some run. But then you got to be mindful of, is she telling me everything? Does she just want the attention? And then you come to find out, oh, well, she had a dude. Her dude is this dude. The dude's a thug. You know, things like that happen. And that's where a lot of things become convoluted. But a lot of it is, it's a competition. It's a matter of rejection. But when I tell you communication, trust, physical attraction, you got to be physically attracted to talk with somebody. Once you get to the part where you can talk with somebody, you got to be able to have a steady line of communication in order to build trust. That's why it goes in that order. The only differences between friendships and relationships is one key factor. It's the physical attraction. Take away the physical attraction, the communication and the trust is the two things that make any friendship work. But even with that, it's just the physical attraction becomes third or fourth. And the reason why it becomes third or fourth is because a lot of guys ain't gonna just associate themselves with the dude who don't know how to dress or who ain't taking care of themselves. They try to help them. Hey, look, get your fit together, man. Get your shoes together, man. They try to help them. But if they're not willing to help themselves and get themselves right, they don't want to be around them that long, because you gotta understand, when it's bigger than you, you are a reflection of not just yourself, you're a reflection of everybody who's around you. So sometimes you got to keep people away who is not a reflection of who you are and who you stand for. And sometimes that's literally in the presentation. Now, does that mean I have to sit up here and rock like Versace and have the chains on dangling all the time? No. No, but I don't. But the reason why I don't have to is because I don't want to have to present that just to prove a point. I don't need to show change stuff to prove a point. I'm this dude. Y'all gonna respect me for being Nerd Boy Fresh.
You almost could say they casual.
Yeah, respected for being Nerd Boy Fresh, and that means that I got suits and stuff. I got jeans. I got all that stuff. But am I going to wear it in venues where it's no? But am I going to be unpresentable? The answer to that is no. I'm going to always be presentable. But now then I know where to be more presentable in certain places. If we're going to a concert, it's a different conversation piece. I'm out with the missus is a different conversation piece. If I'm going to see a play, it's a different conversation piece. Every position, I'm going to church, is a different conversation piece. But I always say, in most things, what I was saying is, if your concern is the competition, ladies and guys, if your concern is the competition, be your best at all times. If you want to compete, you need to start putting your best foot forward, and then understand, even with that being said, you're still going to have some sort of semblance of rejection, because that's life.
Yeah.
Not everybody's going to like you.
You're not here to be like
No.
Most people won't.
But some
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Most people are not going to like you. And they may not like you because of your race. That's okay. That's okay.
Be careful how you say
No. But I'm saying, but that's okay. Because you got to understand, if they don't like you for that don't mean you have to associate with said person.
Oh, yeah, of course. Racism is obviously not okay.
No, it's not. It's not okay to be racist. Not something I'm saying.
I just gotta make sure.
I know. Let me clarify for the kids in the back. I ain't saying racism is okay. What I mean by that is, if somebody really doesn't like you because of your appearance and what you look like, it's okay. You don't have to associate yourself with that person. Doesn't matter who that person is. Get yourself in different venues and different situations. And you'll understand that if you present yourself well enough, you'll be able to compete in those spaces, especially if you're chasing after a relationship. And that's really what this comes down to. This is more of a relationship type question, because women view relationships differently as competition. We compete too. We just compete different. But we applaud each other. Women don't applaud themselves. They're too, I ain't gonna say selfish, but a lot of them are. Really deep down, it's a selfish thing. A lot of guys, because we're into building, providing, that's more of how we're built, and we know that certain things we can do individually, but a lot of it we have to do collective. Even your people who are at the top know that they need to have people who can help them to get them to the top. And even when if you get to the top the wrong way, the downfall is still there. If you ever want to know we didn't even get to the whole breaking down the Diddy thing in its entirety like we did in the last podcast, but that's really what happened with him. People built him up. He surrounded himself with the right people to get himself to the top. But once you got there, because you built it wrong, then you thought you were untouchable because you thought that you were special. The same people who got you there is the same people who's bringing you down to earth and putting you in jail. Be careful. It is competition, because again, and even Diddy will tell you, it's a dog-eat-dog world. Everybody tells you it's a dog-eat-dog world. It's competition. Yeah, it's competition. We know that. But if your purpose is bigger, I don't have to compete against y'all for nobody. Y'all shouldn't have to compete against me for nobody. Or for anything for that matter. What we do is we build it as a unit. If I could get you everything you want, and I'm straight, guess what? We didn't have to compete for it. We built it together. We didn't have to compete for it. We built it. I didn't have to step over you to get there. I ain't stepping over Vic to get there. I will bring y'all with me, and we do it as a unit.
That's another conversation. We got.
But that's the difference between us.
Yeah.
A lot of people want to step over each other. The people who start stepping over each other, guess what happened? They've been falling off. Every single person. That's Diddy in a nutshell. When he started stepping over the people who was helping him, he fell off. Because he thought he was bigger than thought he was the smartest person in the room. He was bigger than it. But when I say it's bigger than you, it was even bigger than him. And he was at the top of the chain. It was bigger than him. Because when you're at the table where you built it together, you better rock with it together. Women especially. Women especially. If women will start unifying and start, hey, I'm in support of you, like truly being support, not this fake support. Not the fake support. Oh, I love what you do in the background. All this fake. So you hear online all the time. They give you the fake support, but then what they really want you to do is be down to where their level is. True support. True support will give you true results. That's really what this conversation is. It's really like, if you're truly in support, and people are like, well, I'm a feminist, I really support women. No, you don't. You only support it when it benefits you. Guys are male chauvinists when they do stuff that only benefits them and not the collective. That's why I always try to stress to everybody who listens to our podcast, when I say it's bigger than you, it is bigger than you. If you are in, that is something that is very, biblical. One body, many parts. You are one piece to a very big movement that the Lord wants you to have. But you got to understand, if you don't do your part, you're messing up the movement. Yeah, God can still move, But he wants you to do your position. Just because you may be the pinky toe to the body of Christ, that doesn't mean that your pinky toe is not important. Every piece is important. But you got to understand, if you just are concerned about, well, I don't know if I'm really doing an impact. No, if you understand that it's bigger than you, that the Lord has a bigger picture, he will bless you with more.
The whole thing too is that if you keep focusing on yourself, that's a really big problem. Not focusing self on improvement, but focusing on yourself and where you're at.
Right.
That's a problem. You're going to be where you're supposed to be. There's no denying that.
Right.
The situation you're in is where you're supposed to be at that time. And more importantly, if things were supposed to be different, guess what? They would be. But they're not different because this is how it's playing out. Now, you can fight and rage against God and what he's trying to do. All you're going to do is be miserable and a failure.
Right.
Or you can obey and submit, and you will know true blessing. But before any of that, you better know who Christ is.
Facts.
If you don't know who he is, well,
And this conversation
It's
for
all
deaf
over.
ears for you. Just don't worry about it. You can bypass this part of the conversation. But understand that,
No, you have to, because some people forget about it.
No.
And then when they'll wake up 20 and 30 years later and realize, maybe I should have.
regret is
being selfish in the grand scheme of things will hinder you more so than you think it will help you. Certain people think that, well, I was being selfish to get myself to the top. But what happened when you got there? You were miserable at the top, you're lonely, you live in a house by yourself and it's just you and your dog, but you don't have nothing to enjoy this with.
I mean,
everybody who's around you hates you really, even though they have to deal with you.
I mean, another way to put it, like, listen, if you're going to step on people's necks to get to the top, all you're going to find waiting for you up there is a noose.
Yep. You gotta understand, dog, you gotta do this the right way. This will be so much easier. There's so much easier ways to get a lot of this stuff done. Especially if y'all want a relationship, it's really easy. Just understand that it's bigger. It's bigger. And what's intended for you will be. Sometimes you're in your positions in life, it's because there's certain things you have to learn in order to get to the next step. Learn it now. Because once you start getting more, you got to be able to handle more. Because what happens if you start getting more and you don't handle it the right way, and you start being selfish, and then you don't understand that, you're trying to compete against people who've been helping you, guess what's going to happen? You're just going to lose it. You're going to lose the relationship you're trying to chase after. You're going to lose the money you're trying to chase after. You're going to lose the friendships that you were trying to build because you didn't know how to handle it the right way. Even though, yes, it is competition, but if you figure out that if I could learn something from you and learn something from you and learn a lot of the pieces to help build myself and learn it organically and continue to learn from each other, it makes my life easy. It's easy when I'm learning from everybody versus me thinking that I'm the smartest one in the room. Because I never take that approach. Even though people may think that I'm the smartest one in the room, I know I'm not. Because just because I may have a lot of smarts and have a lot of knowledge and stuff, that doesn't mean I'm the smartest one in the room. I'm constantly learning. I'm constantly learning from every single person I'm in front of.
I mean, listen, be smart enough to know that you're not.
Exactly. Because once you figure out that you think that you're the best, you stop learning. And that's where women get a lot of this wrong. Because when they figure that, well, this person is being chose. No. It'll be your time. Work as a unit. Y'all be okay.
That goes for both ways, not just that goes for guys.
It goes both ways. Just learn that. Anyway.
Wrap it up.
Final thoughts. We got to go home. I got to go to work later. Shout out to my Walmart people, of course. Appreciate every single one of y'all as well. Y'all know that.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this episode of the PVC Podcast Crew. As always, make sure to comment, really. Liking is appreciated and subscribing also, but hearing from you is far more enjoyable than those other two. Please do comment down below, even if it's just to cuss us out, tell us how wrong we are and stupid we are, and ask why Cameron wants to cash it.
Oh yeah, y'all can ask that question. I'll tell you that in a different
But in all
episode.
seriousness, your comments are probably the best way to engage with us. After all, how are you supposed to know we're stupid if you don't tell us? But besides that, as always, we hope you enjoyed this episode. We hope you enjoyed the words of Cam and the questions of Paul and the sound of my voice. But before we end it, I have to pass the mic over to Paul. Paul, say goodbye to the people.
Peace.
I was finna say, I'm finna be like rubbing on the fifth floor. I will say this. In this world, we do live in a competition world where everybody trying to compete for certain things, certain different things, whether it's a relationship or attraction or attention or just being the number one. Sometimes you got to sit back and observe. And as you know, as us in the podcast group, for me in particular, you know, I still have to go through that, you know, because it's a learning lesson. Sometimes, as I'm learning, it is bigger than me. So when the time comes, and eventually it will, you know, I'll look back and say, you know what, maybe I had to go to these deep waters to get to the level of relevancy in a consensus way. So in regards to that, you know, I truly hope, guy and female, you know, at the end of the day, you get what you want, whether if you get the girl or the guy you want or the job you want, or, you know, or you just naturally happy to be by yourself. You know, that's not a bad thing. But I just say, you know, keep pushing forward, keep grinding on, keep getting yours.
It's simple. I'm not gonna lie and tell you it's not competition. It always is.
Yeah.
Everybody battled. Even Christ, when he was on this earth, battled. Believe it or not.
Oh, daily.
It's competition. It's what it is. Understand that you gotta be prepared for every battle that you're into. You know, basically what competition is, all competition is preparation. Anybody who plays sports, anybody who plays anything, you play video games, you're better video game players, so all it is preparation. Preparation and knowledge. Understanding that you're going to fail.
Oh yeah, like nobody queues up a game of team deathmatch and says, boy, I look forward to losing.
Right. But you got to understand that you're going to lose until you figure it out.
Of course.
It's just like with anything. In life, you're going to have to compete. You're going to have to figure some things out. You're going to have to learn. Sometimes you may have to learn how to play said game from somebody else. There's certain things that I'm not good at. I could have asked the boy, hey, look, Vic, you're the best at first-person shooters that I know. Show me how to get it done. I use that as an example. It's just a simple thing because, again, if there's something that I'm not good at, instead of me just saying, like, well, I'm just not good at that, I don't care, I would rather learn from Vic than compete with him to make it happen. I'd rather learn. In the art of competition, you got to learn how to be better in order to become it. And that's how teams are formed. In life, in relationships, in this choosing process, what you want to do is always be able to present your best foot forward, learn from others to continue to become the best. Also, now I need to preface this, and it's super important for everybody, and the kids in the back, I hope y'all got it far along to listen to this part because it's super important. I may put it out the front. Don't let social media be the benchmark of what's good and what's not. Let me say it one more time for the kids in the back. Don't let social media, don't let TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all this stuff be the benchmark of what y'all think is the benchmark for competition. Just because you see it on social media, that doesn't mean it's exactly what it is. Just because you may see that, well, guys may like this because of what they see on social media, that's not true. Take away the social media, Look at what's happening in front of you in real life, and then you ask me if social media is right or wrong. Don't let social media dictate the benchmark. Because that's the problem in this day and age, because y'all letting TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube dictate the benchmark for everybody. See it in real life for yourself. Then you tell me what the benchmark is. Then you can leave the comment and say, Cam, you're wrong. Or y'all come up and tell me, because y'all do that all the time. Y'all pull up, Cam, you smart, but I don't agree. Just because you don't agree, that doesn't mean I wasn't wrong. But if I am wrong, and if you think Vic is wrong, if you think Paul is wrong, you can tell us on the threads. Put it in the comments below. I read comments. I like that stuff. And I ain't trying to do that to be the bad guys. I want y'all to understand that we do really appreciate y'all thoughts, ideas, and opinions, because that's part of the growth process. I'm not trying to be funny, to be dead serious. We love hearing from y'all. Whether y'all come to us directly, whether y'all put it in the comments, whether y'all kind of sending and crossing, cool. We love that. We appreciate that, because that helps us grow, learn, develop, no matter what it is about the platform. If y'all don't like the lighting on the platform, tell us that. Y'all don't like the audio, tell us that. If y'all don't like the conversation pieces, tell us that too. But if y'all like it, we appreciate that as well. So, like I said, keep riding along with us. We got a lot of good things working. We got some projects we're working on with some movie stuff. Shout out to Jason Lang and the boys. We appreciate y'all. Shout out to Z. I see you. I know you've been in the thread supporting. We're going to get you down. Shout out to Dirty Joe, of course. And everybody else who's part of our affiliates, of course. Want to make sure shout out to all of y'all. It's definitely a privilege and an honor to do this, like always. And we will, as long as y'all like what we do, we're going to keep rocking. From my man Paul, from my man Vic, my name is Cam, a.k.a. Mr. Nerd Boy Fresh.
Freaky.
Like always, God above everything. Till the next time, family, we'll do it again soon.
Much love and respect.
Salute.